I did not realize until now this piano is a remix of the main theme, the Deep South James Bond opening we got towards the beginning. That's rad. What's up, everybody? Flumps8 here, playing more Deadly Premonition 2, ready to get back into it. I assume this is our most recent save. So I've been doing some thinking. I want to go ahead and lock in some theories since it seems like we're approaching the end game. I'm going to go ahead and say,
yeah,
I know.
But I can't let it shake me. Why did you come here, Aaliyah? Remember the real reason you decided to investigate Morgan's house in the first place. We came here to find a missing girl.
I'm going to go ahead and lock in my guess that Avery is the 10-foot-tall person, and through drugs, power-ups, in some version, in some way, he was able to grow. I am guessing whatever Zach is up to, it is to make up for his promise to protect Patty from all the evils of the world. And I'm also, because I've been uploading footage and rewatching stuff, Zach says that tree ruined my life or something along those lines. So my guess is we're still going to flash back to Le Carré again at some point, and Patty is going to end up touching that tree and things are going to go downhill. But we'll see.
Patricia Clarkson isn't here, and he's done nothing except narrowly skirt the thin line of legality in all the right ways. He's so abnormal. How can there not be a single shred of evidence against him?
He's so abnormal, he knows exactly how to make sure there's not a single shred of evidence against him.
Daniel Clarkson.
Apparently still alive.
The file said his only real talent was his ability to pick up women. But when I spoke with him in the warehouse, he seemed dignified. I
am shocked that the game has just decided to pick Daniel and be like, yeah, he managed to turn things around. He's a cool dude now.
Marrying into the Clarkson family must have put him through a lot.
I really would not have expected that.
Daniel Clarkson.
No, I specifically said to look at the Patty photo.
Photograph of Patricia Clarkson.
Good to see Alexis is still alive. That's a relief.
I thought she was imprisoned right here in this room. There was no one here. Where could she be then?
Let's inspect Zach first.
Come on, Agent Jones. I know you're hiding something.
What are you talking about?
You've been watching him for 4.5 years, haven't you? Can you really stand here and tell me that you never saw a single one of the strange signs I'm picking up on now?
What signs?
Deadly premonitions.
Oh! Multiple. You could say there's at least 2 of them.
Preparations for kidnapping or terrorist activities, sexual depravity, violent tendencies, self-mutilation.
How many of those has Zach shown? Preparations for kidnapping, I know Aaliyah is kind of going all in on this theory, so it makes sense why she would pick up on that. I've seen no evidence of sexual depravity. He said a couple of off-color comments, but, like, that's different. Violent tendencies, yeah, he did, like, react very violently at a few points. Self-mutilation, I don't think we've seen any of that.
Or even just contacting a specific person periodically.
Nope, nada. He doesn't fit any of that. You think I'd really ignore something that obvious? I may be a schlub, but I'm still an FBI agent.
Okay, I guess it was more, did you, not, I have noticed these things, why didn't you, and more, did you notice any of these things?
Then why didn't you do anything about this room?
It didn't seem important.
Or did you merely choose to ignore his abnormal proclivities?
You want to know what I did? I did my damn job! End of story! I was outside the entire time. How do you expect me to notice a room like this from out there? It's as simple as that. At least it was, until you dragged me into this whole mess. Don't blame me just because your big investigation ended up leading nowhere.
I'm kind of on Simon's side here, but also, like, did he not see Zach carrying mannequin parts into the bed? Like, all the stuff in this room had to get into the room at some point, and he should have at least seen a little bit of that, I think.
Then tell me the truth. After seeing this room, can you really say that man is in his right mind? He kept this room a total secret from you for over 4.5 years. No normal human is capable of such a feat.
I don't know. With the bedsheet over the window, like, I feel like that's aside from what I just said of, like, how do you get the stuff into the room without him noticing, seems like it's a pretty decent setup for someone who is never inside the apartment to not realize what's happening.
Only a true genius. Or a true monster. Can you really guarantee that he won't try anything if we just let him go here?
Well,
Then you need to help me. Find some sort of evidence that we can use to make him reveal what he's plotting.
okay.
And Simon's just gonna stand there.
Why do you think Jethro here survived?
Jethro? Is that a reference to something? What does that
Why?
mean?
I mean, doesn't he look like the kind of guy who'd die first in a horror movie?
He married into the Clarkson family. He didn't possess Clarkson blood, so he had nothing to do with Helena Doman's plan.
The blood purge thing? But if that was all there was to it, then Helena Doman wouldn't have killed anyone but Clarksons, right? Yet a ton of the Clarkson gang members died, along with Sheriff Woods.
Well, we do know the Clarkson gang was trying to stop her from doing her plan, so, like, I feel like it makes sense that some of them might get hit in the crossfire. I don't know.
Doesn't add up.
She did whatever it took to achieve her goals. She'd kill if the plan required it. But killing people outside of the Clarkson family was never a priority. Her ultimate goal was to cut off the Clarkson bloodline. Maybe he was always meant to be an assistant to the goddess of fertility.
What, like a servant?
He was the kind of person who was most in his element when he had someone to serve. Even afterwards, he let Patricia take over the estate, while he became her assistant.
That's it. Okay, but when did that happen? Isn't she 9?
As soon as he settled into his role, the townspeople started to respect him. Now they practically revere him. And he's even earned himself a nickname. One-Armed Danny.
Truly a creative nickname.
So you think his life played out exactly the way Professor R planned it to go? Talk about tragic.
I mean, it sounds like he's doing all right. He seems pretty happy with where he is, from what we've heard.
I was so positive, but she isn't here. There is something about this room, though. Agent Jones, what do you think?
Me? I'm not as smart as you. Why are you even asking me?
Are you hiding something?
Of course not. Knock it off. Me?
Doubt.
Hiding something?
Press
That's a
X to
good one.
doubt, Aaliyah.
Come on. I got nothing to hide.
I thought I would find answers in this room. I thought that Patricia would be here, but I was wrong. This room is only filled with photos of people related to the case and the handiwork of a madman. Feels like I'm wandering through a heavy mist. Why is Morgan showcasing those women's photos? And that bed?
For the record, it's not just women's photos. It's everyone involved in the case. A Lise-esque cloth doll. We'll get to that last, I think.
Sheriff Melvin Woods. I never met him myself, but his face makes him look like a very nice guy. His background in childhood didn't have any red flags either. Yet we're supposed to believe that he was one of the masterminds behind that entire incident?
Let's take a look.
If you loved someone from the bottom of your heart, would you ever be able to marry someone else? Or kill for them?
Whoa, what are we talking about?
I never heard of any kind of motive like that in any other murder case. I just keep feeling like we're being fed a story that he made up in his mind.
True. Honestly, without having experienced what that's like, I can't really say what I'd do.
If Pizza told me to murder someone, I'd consider it.
But I'd never try and force love to happen, if it didn't seem like it was meant to be. There are 3.5 billion women on this planet. There's got to be more than one specific person who anyone can fall deeply in love with, right?
But what if we were talking about pizza? You just discovered the perfect ultimate pizza, but you aren't allowed to take even a single bite unless you kill someone for the cook.
Have you ever loved someone with all your heart?
What kind of person do you take me for?
That's my line.
I was kind of hoping she'd say her brother or something like that. Like, not in a romantic way, obviously, but like, yes, I have had a very, very tremendous love for someone, and I would kill for that. Like, I don't know. That conversation could have gone farther. I'm sad it didn't.
After she lost her family in the Le Carré incident, she went to go live at the Clarkson estate. And once she grew up, she assumed control of their empire seemingly without any hesitation. She must be strong. How did she eventually come to accept her cursed blood and the fate it placed on her shoulders?
Honestly, once we messed up the weird ritual in the shed, I don't know if the cursed blood means anything anymore. Okay, surely the photo of Patricia won't make the scene progress twice in a row, right?
The one who took her in after the incident was Daniel Clarkson, the next in line to succeed the Clarkson family. He's the one that ended up raising her from that point onwards. Isn't fate strange? In the end, two people who were completely unrelated by blood ended up inheriting that house.
Yeah, you're right.
That's really funny.
But sometimes I wonder, what is family anyway? Go back far enough, we're all strangers to one another. We're talking countless generations, marriages and birth, you know.
Humans love to deify the rules they create.
Ooh, that's not in italics, so I would imagine that's not a Nietzsche quote, but that's a really good line.
It's almost like that's been an unwritten law from the very start. Is this supposed to be the altar from the site where Lise Clarkson's body was found?
Well, it's weird because there's it feels like the V of mannequin parts. I don't know. Because we found Galena's body in the same way, right? So it seems like he's almost done both versions, because why would he have one of Lise that's normal, and then one... In fact, I forget. When we found, at the very beginning of the game, when we saw the frozen body, was it back in... I know it was still in pieces, but was it back in like a humanoid form? Because it feels like that's what he's done here. And then the mannequin is how the body was originally found.
Why would he want to replicate that inside of his own home?
Because he's still trying to solve the case.
There's no way this man is sane. Why did Lise have to die first?
Is it the effing squirrels? Are they the bad guys?
What is this?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I just had to punch the squirrel
This
agent.
room paints such a bizarre
It was my only
picture.
option.
But upon closer look, I can see some strange sort of pattern to it all.
For a second, I thought it was like the sprig of plant there, like he was recreating the red seed thing, but it wasn't red, it was green, so I don't think that was that important.
Was Morgan trying to recreate something with all this? If so, there must be a reason for all of these weird and hideous things.
Okay, yeah, that one is supposed to be Galena. Oh, there's a lot to look at here. Let's take a look at that photo of Daniel again. That seems real important. Oh boy. The game sure doesn't want me to scroll to the right.
When Helena Doman attacked the estate, he just happened to be somewhere else. Whether it was through luck or simple coincidence, that's how he managed to survive. When Helena Doman returned home, someone must have let her inside.
You think that was her brother-in-law, Daniel?
I don't know.
Well, alligators did chomp his arm off.
To be fair, I just kind of waltzed in, I'm pretty sure. I didn't have to be let in.
He probably had it in for old man PJ too, but... You know, I don't think he had anything to do with this.
Why not?
You're making it out to be more complicated than it really is. That's always the problem with people like you. Too smart for your own good.
Just get to the point.
Professor R marched straight through the front door to the mansion. She arrived right at her destination using the quickest route possible without having to undergo a single security check.
I know. My question is, how was she able to do that?
Because she's family. It doesn't matter if PJ disowned her. He never stopped loving his son. A father would never abandon his child, no matter how much they failed to fulfill his expectations. That's what being a parent is all about.
Not loving them for who they are, but just the general loving them as a child. Don't accept them.
Don't look at me like that. I know. I don't have a son myself, but I have a father. He's still back in my hometown, managing the printing plant my grandfather started. He'll be turning 80 soon. He wanted me to take over the place, but as you can see, I'm out here. But I know how this whole thing works. Even though I haven't seen him in forever, the minute I go home, he'll welcome me with warm, open arms.
I do like that ideal, but there are some parents who just don't love their kids. Like, we can't just discount that fact.
I've seen the bedrooms of countless violent criminals, but this one is on a completely different level. It's beyond insane.
That's a safe one to investigate next, I think.
What's that?
A hunting trophy. A brown bear. With a dragonfly eye patch.
Why is it smoking a cigar?
It's probably supposed to represent Philip J. Clarkson's body.
And the elk is?
Helena Doman.
So that's why it's got such good taste in fashion. And this one is Galena Clarkson?
Ooh, are these all the same clue? Because we're looking at all three now.
Why did he want to line up corpses that were killed in different places, all together in a single room?
Gotta connect the dots.
Red seeds?
Okay, yeah, both of the trophies went away, but this one is still open. I would imagine this is last because it's the most mysterious one, so let's look at this.
A woman so beautiful she felt like she could make it as an actress in Hollywood. And this is how she ended up. Sometimes it seems like God abandoned us humans a long time ago. I feel it more and more with each new case. Galena Clarkson went to California to become an actress, but things never took off for her, so she eventually returned home. Then she murdered her own daughter and ended up like this. Where did she go wrong?
She did manage to appear in a few movies, right?
Not as any characters with actual names, and never with much clothes on.
So that's the only value they saw in her, huh? Sorry, that was insensitive.
Well, I mean, you could have been making a comment on the Hollywood industry, but no, you just admitted that that's what you thought too. So, way to go, Simon.
It's an everyday occurrence in that world. She was also bullied a lot.
Bullied? How?
They'd cut up her costumes, her scripts, and even her own clothes, everywhere she went. Then, after 3 years of that, her stylist chopped off a chunk of her hair. By accident.
Are you kidding me?
I did a little investigating on this. In the end, a self-titled big cheese producer tricked her. She almost ended up going into porn.
Not hard to imagine what would have happened after that.
One witness said that after returning to Le Carré, she refused to use scissors to cut anything. Rope tied around a lighting fixture. What could it mean?
It's upside down peace sign, and appears to be like a globe. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's just a blue-ish glass over the light. Oh, it's gonna form a shadow when you turn the red light on.
You sure it's okay to press that?
Won't know until we try.
Hey, it's Woodstock. Look, a peace sign. Love and peace, man. Even I can figure out what this is from. It's Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Grateful Dead, and Led Zeppelin. But I shouldn't have to explain
the
it to
only
music
time a peace
nut
sign has
like
appeared in
you,
popular
right?
culture.
That isn't a peace mark.
It's an upside down peace
It's
mark.
upside down. You don't need to be a music nut to see that.
What? Who says that's the top part? If you're looking from Lisa's head, this is the top part, making it a big, fat peace mark.
No, this is the ground.
Where's your proof?
The red seeds. Seeds go in the ground, right? That makes this wall the bottom. Lisa's head is clearly at the top. Period.
Wait, no, but the seeds are taped to the wall on the left. That doesn't make any sense.
Also, Agent Jones. Led Zeppelin never played at Woodstock. He's representing a human with a hunting trophy made from an animal.
I appreciate that she is a big enough music nerd to know that.
I feel like I'm looking at a piece of modern art done in really bad taste.
Man, they're going all in on the photo of Daniel, aren't they? That continues to be an option for me. Oh, I'm nervous. If Greenvale is not the next step, I'll be nervous that I missed the information. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and let the bear and elk head be. I think it's still safe to look at the photo of Daniel
again. The daughter
again.
of the man who murdered his beloved wife and daughter. That's quite the feat.
And we can go ahead and look at these.
Philip J. Clarkson, the central figure behind the Clarksons' rise to power. He took 2 wives and fathered 3 children. But despite all his successes, he's been immortalized as a hunting trophy. Nothing but a sick joke. According to Morgan's story, she was the mastermind behind everything. The whole purpose of her plan was to protect her declining clan from their imminent downfall.
By killing all of them?
She had to kill all her family members in order to purify the bloodline, so that in the end only the goddess of fertility would be left behind. I don't buy it. This plan has so many holes in it, I don't know where to begin. Yes, Katrina may have carried all of the evidence away, but I still can't believe he was actually able to turn in this fairy tale as an official report.
That reminds me, I did want to say, I think it is smart to, if you're having a story that takes place in New Orleans in 2005, to incorporate, or in Louisiana, to like make Katrina a part of the plot, and I am very relieved that it is not, oh, mystical things caused Katrina. I would have been very upset about that. But I kind of wish there had been a little bit more foreshadowing, like even just that first conversation with David of just like someone says, oh, there's a storm coming in a couple of days, I think, or like you look out towards the coast and you can see that there are clouds on the horizon. It felt like Katrina just kind of arrived very quickly, which like I don't know, I don't think Katrina was even mentioned until like the 3rd Aaliyah scene, and even then it was not in reference to Le Carré at all. It was in reference to her home and background. So I guess I wish there had been a little bit more lead up to that, but it's fine.
He was going back over the Le Carré case together with the Greenvale case. Just as I thought, these 2 cases are connected, but in a different way from what I originally thought.
Okay, I'm actually much more confident now that that is progress, so let's go ahead and inspect everything else.
Sure seems like our friend Daniel here was just destined to suffer.
I know I have the option to keep looking at the Daniel photograph, but why is it that we're investigating this really creepy room, and like every 40 seconds, Aaliyah and Simon both turn back to the Daniel photo and are like, man, let's talk about Daniel some more.
He crossed the entire continent and married into the Clarkson family, all for the sake of the woman he loved. But then the love of his life became a drug addict and ended up murdering their very own daughter. And she too was murdered as part of her big brother's conspiracy. Finally, in order to prove that he could take responsibility for the family, he gave up his right arm to his father-in-law, who got blown to bits soon afterwards. And to add insult to injury, all the inheritance went to PJ's secret heir. If I had to go through all that, I'm pretty sure I'd go crazy.
But I thought we established he's not crazy.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
He found someone he loved so much. He moved across the entire continent just to be with her. That's beautiful. It also seems that he was eventually able to make an identity for himself and Lou Carre as well. After I found his daughter's body, I interrogated him for a bit. When I told him we were gonna do an autopsy on her body, he didn't react violently in any way. I remember him looking relieved and tired. Kinda like someone who'd just woken up from a coma.
I am still in utter shock at the development we're putting Daniel through in this last, like, third of the story.
But I still...
Yeah, let's go ahead and inspect these.
He was taught how to rule as a child, never confided in anyone, and married for purely political reasons. Then he prospered so much that he became powerful enough to rule an entire town on his own. But in the end, his own child betrayed him and ended his entire clan in a series of violent deaths. If that was your life, how would you look back on it?
Yeah, beats me. I wasn't born into a rich family, nor was I ever taught how to rule. And for what it's worth, I've also never knocked up a young ex-actress. But I guess the one thing we can say is that any good life needs balance. Get too hung up on one thing and you lose sight of everything else. And if you betray someone, you'll get betrayed too. If someone thinks they can step all over people and then live out the rest of their life in peace, they're fooling themselves. We always get to see how those people end up in our line of work. In the end, they die horrible deaths. That is why pizza is the only thing I trust. Pizza never betrays you.
That's not true. You can get bad pizza and it hurts. It hurts your feelings.